Hello, hello, how are you doing? It's time for the open topic. Like, tag, share, hearts. You can put those stars on it. All you digital content creators or content creators, join in. So I just did the challenge to post for the open topics, and we had great participation. Thank you for participating. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for listing the topic also. And so on today, our winner of the open topic is another digital content creator, BKG Duck, out of Bellevue, Illinois. Okay. And it is self-love, and we all have something on self-love we can dialogue about. How you doing, my sister? Welcome. We all have something that we can contribute about self-love, and so we'll dive into that in a moment also. Blessings to you, Queen. I have one announcement from the desk of my bishop, my fellowship, my alliance, Christ United Apostolic Alliance. I've been on the phone today with Dr. Bishop Perry out of South Carolina, and it's been confirmed that Region 3 of our alliance is expanding, is growing with leaders, churches, ministries, resources, and opportunities. And so the new Region 3 includes, it's exciting, it's thrilling, New Mexico, Louisiana, Colorado, and Texas. Okay. And so next year, we're looking forward to something here in Texas. Be updated for that information. And if you would like to come aboard the Alliance, contact Dr. Perry Smith. He'll be definitely granted to go over that information with you or someone else in the organization. Okay. We are better together. We are better united. And so now that we've had that out of the way, how has your day been going on this Throwback Thursday? Throwback Thursday is for memories of what you have came through or accomplished. One thing I seen in my memories was some pictures from 2020 when I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. I still love Charlotte, North Carolina. One love to the Queen City. How you doing, Evangelist Taylor Love? Blessings to you. And so, self-love. Also, content creators. Find you something to market. Find you something to network. Find you something to promote or to sell as content. You never know who's watching you, who's viewing you, that might want you for a commercial, might want you on their platform, might want you for an interview. This is a part of self-love, positioning yourself to win, to market yourself, promote yourself, your brand, your platform. How you doing, Evangelist Cornelia Gibbons? One love to you. And so, two things I'm going to promote today is in the health arena for self-love, okay? So the first thing that I'm going to promote today in self-love is some good orange juice. If you love good orange juice that's rich in vitamin C with no sugar added, pulpit free, Simply Orange, Florida, my second home, Okay, make sure you get some of that. They have them in all flavors. This is one of the best flavors here. Um, from Simply Orange. It's not consecrated. Uh, and it's nutritional facts. You can read them for those of you going into nutrition. Because if you love yourself, you should read nutritional facts. It's about 7 servings per container. The calories are 110. There's no fat, no saturated fat, no trans fat, no cholesterol, no sodium. Total carbohydrates is 26 grams. Total sugars 23 grams. Included 0 added sugars. Protein is 2 grams. Not a significant source of protein. Calcium 20 milligrams, 2%. Potassium 4 milligrams, 10% of that. Vitamin C 90%. Thiamine 8%. Niacin 2%. Vitamin B 4%. Folate 10%. Magnesium 6%. So go grab yourself for self-love, okay? Eat healthy, drink healthy as much as possible. Okay, self-love. Take care of yourself. Take care of your temple. Okay, if you want to be around for your spouse, your family, your children, your organization, your platform, your business. But Sean, how you doing? Longview, Texas in the house. What you doing, friend? And then for my other nutritionist people, self-love, get you some good vitamins. Get you some good vitamins. You see that? Get you some good vitamins. And it's an all-in-one natural vitamin. And the ingredients: sea moss, black seed oil, ashwagandha, burdock root. You need it. And this one is the extra strength, and it is 19,708 milligrams per serving. Okay. It also is a dietary supplement. So if you're trying to lose some weight, or if you don't eat food that give you the necessary nutrients that you need, then find self-love with yourself and get you some good vitamins, okay? Get you some good vitamins. You can order these by way of Amazon and Temu also. How you doing, Alexis Wills? So make sure you get some good vitamins. And always read the ingredients, and the suggested use, 2 capsules per day, or as directed by your healthcare professional. So always consult with your primary doctor before taking any vitamins or any medication, so you don't have any issues or any side effects. So make sure you grab that. How you doing, Sister Lynn Whitfield? Okay, so that's it for today on that self-love. Okay, take care of yourself, take care of your temple. Go out and get these, keep these in your arsenal, and then stay hydrated. Okay, make sure that you are drinking plenty of water, especially if you are actively, constantly moving around, or your job, your business, or whatever you're doing requires you to do a lot of walking, a lot of lifting, a lot of bending. Also, self-love, you got to do a lot of stretching, okay? Especially, us who are in the 40 and above club. We gotta stretch when we get up. Stretch, put your hands over your back. You can do some simple things. Move your waist, touch your toes. Do some hand rolls. Praise God. Self-love is very important, definitely. And so Make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Take care of your mental health also, you know. And so if you need counseling, you need therapy, get it, find it, you know. It is worth the investment. Self-love requires you to do a reflection also of your past and your childhood. There are many people that are suffering from things from their childhood, and you won't know it a lot of times until you engage in conversations with them, or you find yourself in a relationship with them, a partnership, or you fellowship with them. And so my advice as a counselor is to get professional help, especially in the church right now, in ministry right now. It's a major concern, the mental health of leadership and congregation. So make sure that you're getting that professional help, getting that counseling, getting that therapy on a regular, where you can speak to somebody freely without being judged, without being condemned. We know that a lot of reasons why people don't get the help that they need because they are afraid to open up and communicate from being judged. Okay, how you doing, Miss Jackie Bradshaw Wells? Blessings to you. And so self-love would cause you to evaluate your life and understand where you are and why the way that you are. If you have things that you need to forgive others for, it can affect your health. Have you ever thought about that? Are there some things that's happened to you in your childhood that you need to forgive people for? Maybe it's your mother, maybe it's your father, grandparents or grandparent, uncle, aunt, niece, whoever that you need to forgive. Get that slate clean. Miss Atra Sims, blessings. Clean that slate. Get that slate clean on whoever you need to forgive, because it affects your health. So you need to have self-love to say, you know what? Who do I need to forgive? Who am I holding a grudge against that did something to me in my childhood, in my teenage years? And see, self-love would cause us to open up about conversations that we normally wouldn't open up about also. And by counseling and doing therapy and ministering to people, a lot of times they tell me things that they normally wouldn't tell anyone else. Things I know about people's spouses and children and leaders. You have to keep it private, so keep those conversations between you and that individual so you can keep their trust, their safety, and their privacy. Self-love, not allowing yourself to stay in a trauma, because there are people that are carrying things of trauma from generation to generation, and they never got the help, they never got the counseling, they never got the therapy, they never told anyone about their trauma, and so they cover it up with vices. That's why some people indulge in drinking and smoking and things to cover up their trauma. Some people take their trauma out on other people. Self-love is understanding that hurt people. So if you are hurt, go get healing, go get counseling, go get therapy, so you don't keep on hurting people that want to bless you, that want to support you, that want to be in your corner. This is another reason why our divorce rate is so high, and that the domestic rate is so high, because of self-love. You got to love yourself to remove yourself from being abused, and as we know, there are many forms of abuse. It's physical abuse, it's verbal abuse, emotional abuse, spiritual abuse, and you got to make sure that you are not the weapon that is formed against yourself first, and that you are not the weapon formed against your spouse, your children, your family, and everything that revolves around your life. Okay? For you to have self love, you got to be healthy. Okay? You got to be healthy. You got to be healthy. No ill will, no ill intentions, no grudges, no unforgiveness, no get back, you know. And so you can't get to where God would have for you to be if you don't work on self. And the truth of the matter is, one of the greatest projects, mhm, one of the greatest projects, one of the greatest platforms, one of the greatest ministries that you would ever work on is yourself. That's why self-love is so important. Self-love will cause you not to deal with certain things. And so having healthy self-love creates boundaries. Okay? And that's a word that's foreign to a lot of people, of why they go through certain changes and why they haven't identified different things in their life, or why they keep meeting the same people, just in a different body, a different name, different situationship, relationship, marriage, what have you, because they have not dealt with self. They have not found the self-love of why I keep attracting that same kind of individual, or I keep winding up in these similar same situations, because I'm not loving myself. I'm not putting the boundaries that I need to love myself, so I can see before I get entrapped. Okay? Self-love. It's to joy. All right. So what y'all got to dialogue about on self-love, and we'll keep it rolling. Okay? So tell me, what's your ideas on self-love? Anybody have any issues that they didn't deal with self-love? Something that you need to confess from your childhood? Maybe some trauma. You still holding a grudge that your father left you. You never had a relationship with your father, or your mother was toxic, and that's another one that we don't talk about. Toxic mothers do more damage than absent fathers. Mm-hmm. That's a conversation people don't want to have, because one of the most dangerous things is when a child is taught to hate their father, you know. And a lot of times we don't get the background information on why the father left. Why did he leave? Or what were the circumstances surrounding that, you know. So self-love, identifying and dealing with the hard conversations. Yeah, see, the hard conversations. See, that's what self-love do also. Self-love help you have the hard conversations. You know, do you, in women cases, do you have daddy issues because daddy wasn't there? You know, so you're looking for daddy in a man. So you have unrealistic expectations when you meet a man, because instead of looking at him as a man for yourself, you're trying to see your father. You're trying to resurrect your father out of a man that's not your father. That's trauma, you know. So self-love helps you evaluate and say, you know what? Is it the reason why I got that divorce or that breakup because I tried to make him my father instead of my man or my husband? And then on the young men's side, is it self-love that I didn't recognize that the reason why I abuse and mistreat women and downgrade them and disrespect them is because my mother was toxic? You know, did I see how my mother destroyed men with her mouth and tore them down so I don't feel like a man? I never been affirmed. I never was told that I was handsome and that, I should grow up and be a man. And, men should be able to have emotional, healthy conversations without being triggered, without being angry, without being disrespectful, without hitting below the belt. Okay, let's do some commentating. Okay, Sister Shaquita Jackson Jordan said, okay, your dad died when you were 7 years old. So how did you feel about your father dying at 7 years old? That's a very young age. What was that relationship like? What was that relationship like? Because that can create a lot of trauma, and that can create some daddy issues that's been unaddressed. Have you had those experiences where you've been trying to find your daddy in men? And maybe that's why reoccurring situations with marriage or relationships um, took place. Okay. Okay. Said y'all had a great relationship. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, that's awesome. That's good. That's good. It's always, you know, it's always good to have a great relationship with your father. A lot of people don't understand this, but children need their fathers. You know, children need their fathers. So that's self-love from a parent standpoint, also, especially for the mothers. That regardless to that relationship, that situationship, or whatever took place with that man, that child still needs their father. That child needs that father influence, that father's love, that father's values, impact, and all those things, because we have so many broken homes without fathers, So self-love is recognizing that you can co-parent healthily, and everybody's not sneaking around co-parenting. Some people are healthily co-parenting with boundaries, and it's all for the child's sake or for the children's sake. That's self-love. Self-love is putting aside your needs, your personal feelings, for the sake of that child or the children's future. And that's very important. It's very important because, our children are our future, So you can't be thinking future in your feelings, moved by your feelings. So get out of your feelings and get healthy, okay? Be mature. Self-love is recognizing also the areas that you've been immature in, because you're looking at self. And self-love will cause you to evaluate and say, have I been the toxic one? You look in that mirror, say, maybe you were the toxic one. Maybe you were the reason for the separation, the breakup, the divorce. Is it time for an evaluation? Self-love. Okay. So, self-love will cause you not to stay in abusive relationships, to abusive marriages, where you being manipulated, traumatized, misused, and those things. Self-love, bring those kind of boundaries that, you're not tolerating disrespect, because you don't have to, regardless of circumstances, and see a lot of people in relationships and marriages really don't have self-love because they compromise the sake for being together, or for the kids' sake, or for things' sake, because we got this house, we got these cars, we got this business, we got this ministry, all those things and so forth. Self-love says, I can give it all up because I'm going to keep my integrity because I love me. And a lot of times, self-love comes with self-preservation. You're going to preserve self because self got to survive, because you can't take but so much abuse. You can't take so much putting down. You can't take but so much slander. You can't take so much of being talked down to. You can't take so much of somebody not seeing your value, not seeing your needs, your wants, or what you bring to the table. Self-love lets you understand your value. Self-love helps you understand your value. That you know what? I don't have to put up with this. I don't have to put up with this. Self-love will give you your integrity to say, you know what? I can go and start over. That's a major one now. That's a major one. Because we know a lot of people compromise just to say that they are together in a marriage or relationship or situationship for all the wrong reasons. Okay? And it's killing you. It's breaking your mind down. You own all kind of medications. You're dealing with all kind of spirits. You're dealing with all kind of disrespect for the sake of things or a title. That's my husband. That's my wife. That's my man. That's my woman. That's my kid's mother. That's my kid's father. All these things. Self-love says, I'll start over. I start over by myself, and self-love is, I can, if I have to, I give up everything, I give up everything and go live at a shelter, I did it before. See, so I'm not telling you something that I read just in a book, I'm not telling you from a counselor or therapist standpoint, because I deal with clients and patients, because I used to be a mental health counselor, for the state of North Carolina, So I'm not telling you from that aspect. I'm telling you from a personal aspect that self-love moved me to the point that I left and started over. I had a great life, wonderful life from the outside, the big house, the nice cars, all the things, But when you don't have love, then you don't have nothing, You just have a housemate, you just have a roommate, you just have your kid's father or your kid's mother, you just under the title of marriage, but you don't have a covenant. You don't have unity. You don't have oneness. You don't have alignment. So you're still just playing house. So self-love helps you come to the realization that this is not what God has for me. This is not God's will for my life. And when you recognize something that's not God's will for your life, then you should be able to walk away. Okay? You should get rid of that bondage, get rid of that weight that's easily besetting you from going forth in what God has for you. Okay, self-love. Mm-hmm. Self-love. How you doing, Katie, Miss Clousy? How you doing? All right, self-love. Mhm. Tell me about some other self-love situations that you've had to make executive decisions in. You know, self-love. Mhm. Self-love also is having the humility to apologize sincerely. Okay. Some people apologize just to say that they apologize, but self love apologize because I know that I hurt you. You know, I know what I said was wrong. I know that what I said, it wasn't fighting fair. It wasn't from a good place. You know, it was an attack. You know, it was me speaking out of my trauma in a trigger. You know, so self love recognize triggers and traumas that need to be addressed. You know, and as believers, you know, prayer is great. Prayer is awesome. Prayer is our communication with God, talking to God, listening to God. But at the same time, self love helps us take accountability. That's a big word, right? Accountability. Accountability means that I want to be an adult. When I say I want to be an adult, that means I'm going to own what I say. hmm I'm going to own my actions, right? I'm going to take accountability for my behavior, right? Hmm? Self love, right? Because self wants to get better, right? Self wants to be better. See, the better individual you are, the better you are for your spouse, the better you are for your family, the better you are for your job, your career, your business, your ministry, your alliance, your fellowship, uh, in every aspect. Self love. Self love spreads out because it's inwardly out. Okay? Miss Linda Covington. How you doing, Evangelist Michelle? Doing blessings. Self love. Self love. Yeah, self love help you confess that, you know what? There's some things I need to confess. you know, There's some things I need to get right. There's some things I need to set in order. There's some things I need to deal with about me that nobody really ever confronted me about. And it's time for me to deal with self, you know? Is it possible that you are not dealing with self because you don't want to grow? And you got to think about it this way. A lot of people are grown in age, but in maturity, they are children. They are children, because, I speak to people all the time from all over, and I had a conversation with this one lady. We was dialoguing. She said uh, she was tired of dating younger men, and so she tried to go out with an older gentleman because she thought he was more mature, And this gentleman, I guess was maybe in his 50s, and she said, it's actually disheartening because you would think that an older gentleman would be more mature, more balanced, more settled, those things, but um, No, very immature. And so age does not bring maturity. Education does not bring maturity. A title does not bring maturity. A career, a good career, does not bring maturity. Money does not bring maturity. Things does not bring maturity. Maturity begins with doing the self work because I love me. And I'm willing to go get the help that I need so I can be better. I'm tired of hiding, And that's what God was saying to Adam in the garden. Adam, where are you? That's the question for you today concerning self-love. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you mentally? Where are you emotionally? Where are you spiritually? Where are you where it concerns the will of God? Are you in your calling? Are you in your assignment? Are you carrying your mantle? Are you with the person that God ordained for you? That's big, that's major. And so let me drop the other bomb on you. Self-love is recognizing too when I'm with the wrong person. Yeah. When I recognize that I'm married to the wrong person. When I recognize that I'm in an arranged marriage. When I recognize that I became a part of something for survival. Self-love is recognizing that maybe I got a codependency. That's a big one. I got a codependency that I can't be alone. I can't be by myself. I gotta have somebody. But self-love says, you know what? If I'm hurt, or if I just came out of divorce, or if I just came out of a breakup, I need to be alone so I can heal. I don't need to attach myself to nobody else. Because the only thing I'm going to do is bleed on somebody else who didn't hurt me, that's going to try to love me. Okay? And that's how we can stop all these broken marriages and broken relationships, because self-love creates healthy people that don't mind recognizing that they are the one that are creating these broken bonds, And so trauma recognizes trauma. So self-love is recognizing, you know what? The reason why we might identify with each other is because we share the same trauma. I was molested when I was young. I was raped when I was young. I was abandoned when I was young. I was rejected, I was the black sheep, Ways that people identify. And a lot of times, they are really trauma bonds. So really, people don't have authentic relationships and marriages. Most of them are trauma bonds if they really dig deep. That's some serious therapy. That's some serious counseling. That's the kind of stuff that normally don't get broadcast, because that's where the real work come on, because a lot of times the camera is not on, when you're talking about those kind of things, normally when people talk about those kind of things, they try to get up and run out because they don't want to have those conversations. They don't want to have that kind of accountability, because they don't realize they don't love themselves enough to get the self work. See, self love means you gotta do the self work. You gotta be willing to work on self. How you gonna be better for somebody else? You don't work on yourself. So listen, let me advise you. Stop praying for things that you are not ready to receive. Stop praying for a husband. Stop praying for a wife. And love self. Let God prepare you to be a husband, to be a wife. And then in His timing, He'll bring you together because you've done the work. It's nothing worse than someone who thinks that if they get with a particular person, that their problems are going to some kind of way just disappear. No, that's your work. That's being immature. That's being childish. You should not look to another individual to take away your burdens, your problems. God is a burden bearer, not a human. Don't put that burden on nobody from your childhood, from your past about what happened with that marriage or that trauma, that breakup. No. You're already setting it up for failure. And see, self-love is recognizing maybe I've been doing the infiltrating and the sabotaging of my own self. Yeah, maybe I've been sabotaging my own self, getting myself involved and entangled in things that I know God didn't have for me. No, He didn't ordain for my life. No, He didn't give me a confirmation on. Self-love is recognizing, what I participated in it and called it a confirmation. Yeah, I can admit it was an arranged marriage. They put us together. The church put us together. The leaders put us together. The alliance put us together. The association, the denomination. Our parents thought this was a good idea. Yeah, so self-love. Self-love is recognizing, what? Am I where God would have for me to be? Am I in the right location? Am I in the right location? Do I supposed to be in South Carolina and my time is up in Texas? Or do I need to go back to Dallas because my assignment is up here in Tyler? Am I overstaying in the assignment that God has already allowed me to finish? That's self-love. Asking those kind of questions. Is it me or is it God? That's what self-love do too. Evaluate. Is it me speaking to myself, saying these things? Or is it really God speaking to me? Or what I'm saying to myself, I'm making confirmations saying that it's God. Right. Am I at the right church? Am I under the right leadership? Because self-love evaluates, are you under the right covering? Because if you're not under the right covering, then you're not going to get what God has for you. So, are you under the right covering, or are you under a cover up? That's a really good one. That's a word for a later date, because a lot of people, leaders and people in congregation, believers alike, are under a lot of cover-ups because they are not being groomed, they're not being edified, they're not being educated, they're not being poured into, they're not even valued the same. You know, people are competing instead of being confirmed. So, yes, very important questions, Sister Lynn. Very important questions. You know, what role does this person play in my life? You know, self-love, because you know everybody you meet is not your husband or your wife. You need to ponder that. So you need to ask God to categorize the people that you meet. Are you choosing out a faulty mechanism because that's what you want? Self-love. Have you asked yourself, is that a calling that I'm willing to take the crushing for? Is that a mantle that I want to go through those kind of attacks that come with that? Or do I want it easy? I want it ready-made. You know, see, so when you start talking about calling, you start talking about mantles, start talking about sacrifice. See, that's where self-love coming in at. Are you willing to make those sacrifices? Is it really whatever it takes? Or do you have to have everything all together? You know, self-love helps you evaluate that God does not operate in comfortability. If you are not okay being uncomfortable, then you don't have to worry about elevation and promotion from God, because He's going to make sure that you are so uncomfortable when He strip you that you will only depend on Him. Yeah. Yeah. And you'll realize, and you'll know it, that a lot of people that you thought that you could depend on, they flee. You know, they flee, especially during hard times. They flee. You know, you lose your job, you know, lose your home, lose your vehicle, lose whatever. Then you really start seeing people. God start really showing you people for who they really are. Because when you don't have those things, you start seeing how people really see you and how they judge, how they treat you, how they value you. You know. Yeah, that's right, Evangelist Don Blocker. That's right. Because, you know, am Am I still not being held in high regard because I don't have the building yet? You know, am I to be respected as a man of God even though I don't have a wife yet? You know, it is the messages, the preaching, the teaching that God give me just as relevant as somebody on what they call a big platform because I'm not on those platforms? Is there a separation of God's voice? Hmm. Am I being judged because I don't have all those things that you think I ought to have? Because you don't know the process that God is taking me through to get me to the promise. Self-love, see. Self-love help you recognize that, you know what, this process that I'm going through is processing me into the promise that God has for me. Just like that message that's pinned up on my page in Job. I'm still reading Job 42 also. If you listen to that message, you know, in the beginning, you know, about the testing, um, you know, Satan had to go and get permission, you know. So what you are experiencing right now is just a test. Self-love. It's just a test. You know, you can get another job, you can get another place, you can get another vehicle. You stay in the process. Mm. In Job 42, that latter part, you know, in verse 11, says, Then came there unto him all his brethren. So a lot of times people can't see your value, your calling, your ministry, your mantle until you have finished the process. Self-love helps me finish the process. It helps me understand this is something that I must go through because this is good for me. This is what God has for my life. So I'm not looking for another way for him to do it. I'm going to go through it. Then came there unto him all his brethren and all his sisters, and all they that had been of his acquaintance before, and did eat bread with him in his house, and they bemoaned him, and comforted him over all the evil, listen, that the Lord had brought upon him. So the tests that Job endured were allowed by God for a purpose, a reason, and a season. Okay? Because remember, this is the end. This is the ladder. And so this is his brothers and his sisters and his acquaintances, friends, those that know him. And every man, listen to this, after you pass the test, after you reach the promise, after you do the work, excuse me, every man also gave him a piece of money, and everyone a earring of gold. See, people want God's blessings, but they don't want to go through the process. Nobody don't want to lose their job. They don't want to lose their house. They don't want to be made to look like a fool, as they say, you know. You relocated to that state, you know. Y'all was together before y'all got married. That's their process, you know. If I was you, with my skill set, my education, I wouldn't have took that job. I wouldn't have took that pay rate. A job is a job when you need a job. Self-love, okay? Verse 12. So the Lord blessed the latter end of Job more than his beginning. Self-love is realizing, you know what? This is going to work out for my good in the end. Yes, Sister Lynn, they want the promise without the experience. They want the promise without the process. You got to get in the process. You got to get the process, you know? And see, people have unrealistic expectations, and so they're judging people on things and not on where God has them. And many people are missing out on the favor of God because they're looking at it through their eyesight, but not their insight. And what I mean insight is only what the Holy Spirit can show you that's not in the natural. So people are missing it because they're just looking through their eyes only, their natural eyes, and not their insight. So the Lord blessed the latter end of Job more than his beginning. And it goes and lists all of the things that God had blessed him with. For he had 14,000 sheep. That's innumerable. 14,000 sheep. I couldn't keep up with 14,000 sheep. 6,000 camels, and 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 she-asses. Even the restoration of the children was a part of the process of the testimony of his testing. He also had 7 sons, 3 daughters, and they give the name of them. And in verse 15 it says, and in all the land were no women found so fair as the daughters of Job. Their father gave them an inheritance among their brethren. See, when you go through the process, you prepare yourself for the inheritance. So while you're going through the process, God is preparing the inheritance. So that man, that woman, that house, that job, that career, that business, that ministry, all of those things are in preparation. They are being prepared for you, how you go through the process. Self-love. And their father gave them inheritance among their brethren. Verse 16, after this lived Job 140 years, and saw his sons and daughters, even 4 generations. See, self-love is important for you to go through the process because there are at least 4 generations that are dependent upon you to go through the process of the promise for the inheritance. Verse 17 says, so Job died being old and full of days. That means he fulfilled the process. He fulfilled the promise because he had self-love, not to listen to his friends, not to listen to his crazy wife at the time of cursing God and die, because he knew he had to have self-love, to have faith in God, that God's word is true, that his calling, his assignment, his mantle, the process for the inheritance was him getting through the process. So I want to inspire you, encourage you today. If you're in a process today, maybe you don't have the job that you think you ought to have, or you don't have a job yet. Keep on looking. God has one for you. You might not have a vehicle right now. You might be catching rides. You might be riding on a bus. You might be getting taken around by family or friends. It's okay. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed. God has you where he wants you to be. Maybe you staying at a shelter, you know, 'cause you don't have housing right now. You got evicted or you couldn't afford where you was living at. It's all right. Everybody goes through changes, you know. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't overthink it. If you wasn't where you are in life, you wouldn't be able to meet the people that you need to meet on purpose. On purpose. On assignment. See, sometimes in life, when we have everything, we don't meet the right people because certain places we wouldn't go, certain neighborhoods we wouldn't be in, certain stores we wouldn't go to, you know, certain jobs we wouldn't be a part of, you know, certain cities, certain counties, certain states we wouldn't even be in. But God has you exactly where He needs you to process you until He prepares a testimony for you. Now, the thing about self-love too is you can't get what God has for you complaining. You cannot get what God has for you complaining. Why I'm going through this, why I had to lose my job, why I had to lose my house. Oh, I was living right. I was doing your will. I was praying. I was going to church faithfully. I was giving faithfully. The worst way to delay your destiny is to complain. And we see that example with the children of Israel, right? 40 years in the desert, delayed their destiny to the promised land that caused that generation not to see with their eyes, but not to walk in it. Whew, that's a message all by itself. You don't want to be the person who God shows you your promise, shows you your inheritance, shows you what He has for you, but then you're never able to obtain it. You're never able to walk in it because you don't want to go through the process because of what people think. Family, friends, loved ones, a child, children, you know, friends, leaders, and all these things. But at the end of the day, the only person voice that matters in your life is God's voice. So I hope you love yourself enough to listen for God's voice and that you don't listen to any other voice, and that what He's planned and purpose for you is just for you, and that you will arrive at His appointed time, because you can't rush God's timing. See, sometimes we might think that, well, oh, you know what? I should have been married, or I should have been doing this. I should have been had the business. I should have been got the building. I should have been had this off the ground. I should have been moved here. He got you where He wants you right now for His purpose. And when it's time for you to be wherever God will have for you to be, He will release you. He will already have prepared the exit for you. Now, where most people get in trouble, they try to get ahead of God when He is the way maker. Now, if He's the way maker, let Him make the way, and then He'll show you the way. Okay, self-love. Yeah, that took a shift. So somebody needed that, you know. Somebody needed that. Love yourself. Don't be down on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Stop letting people speak word curses in your life. You got family members that'll speak word curses in your life. If you love God so much and you're serving God so much, why you ain't got a husband? Why you ain't got a wife? Why you ain't got a house? Why you ain't got a car? Why you ain't got a job? Tell him he's not finished with me yet. And this is not always going to be my situation because you can't see where he's taking me and when he's taking me. Okay, so keep yourself out of the negativity, keep yourself out of the drama, the arguing, getting yourself all stressed out, so you'll be discombobulated to hear God's word. So, you gotta. How you doing, brother James William? Blessed to you, my brother. Yeah, you gotta get accustomed to blocking out. Self-love is boundaries to protect your ear gate. Protect your ear gate. Watch who you let pray with you, and watch who you let speak into your life. Whoever has your ear has your life. Remember that. Whoever has your ear has your life because they are speaking into your life, speaking into your spirit. Okay? So make sure it's inspiring, it's encouraging, it's educational, it's what God has for you. Because some people be prophesying to people, setting them up to prosper. Okay? So beware of them. Self-love is that, you know what? I'm not going to let nobody sabotage me. I'm not going to let nobody prophesy to me. If it's something I know that God did not confirm me, my spirit, I'm not going along with it. I don't care how many people standing up there. I don't care how many people standing up there. I don't care how big their title is. I don't care how big the platform is. I don't care how long we've been fellowshipping. I'm not going along with false prophecy. That's self-love. We got to have spiritual standards also that we don't go along to get along. And anybody that know me will tell you, I ain't never been the one to go along to get along. And the more I get older, the more my patience gets shorter for going along to get along. So I'm going to tell you right then, listen here, cut the false prophecy out. You know what I'm saying? Kill that. That ain't from God. That's not from the Holy Spirit. Self-love is addressing things head on too, and letting people know, listen, I'm not going to let you lie to me. I ain't going to let you lie to me. I don't care how many people standing around. Yeah, I ain't going to let you lie to me because I ain't going to lie to myself. See what I'm saying? Because I loves me. See what I mean? And I want what God has for me, And you should want what God has for you too. You are God's best, and God wants what's best for you. And sometimes we settle for what's not best for us. Sometimes we settle for what's not best for us. Sometimes we settle for what's available. See, you can't settle for what's available. You got to settle for what God assigned, for what God anointed. And see, everybody want to be a power couple, right? But a lot of people are choosing people that are available according to what they think is a match. But if they allow God to anoint what he has ordained, he'll join them together. That's why it says, a man that findeth. Yeah, see, a man that findeth a wife. That means she's already a wife when you meet her. That means she's got the characteristics already of a wife. You don't have to tell her how to be a wife. You don't have to train her how to be a wife. You don't got to convince her that she's a wife. She already knows she's a wife because she's been prepared by God when you meet her. That's why it says a man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. That means she's a wife and she's a good thing. You see what I'm saying? That means she ain't been with everybody. You see what I'm saying? She may have a past, but you know what I mean? Now she's a good thing. And then that latter clause of that is that, yes, Brother Chance, that's different problem. The latter clause of that is that when the man findeth a wife, findeth a good thing, then he obtaineth favor from the Lord. So once he meets her and they date, they court, they get married, whatever, if she is anointed by God to be his wife, then the favor of God, of the vision, the business, and everything that God has invested in him, she brings it out because she is his helpmeet. Yeah, she's his helpmeet. So she knows how to tap into things that no other woman has ever done because she is anointed with that access. Ooh, that's good. That's good. So so pray that you get that anointed one that God has for you. And the same for the woman. Once the woman come under the right covering, she'll have the right headship to protect her spiritually, naturally, and in every way. And that union being in alignment with God brings double. That's good. Brings double. So ask God, what's for me? Let me not miss it in the season. And if I don't have what you sent to me or sent me to find, then separate me so I can go get or receive what you have for me, because I love myself and I love you and I want to do your will. So grace and peace be unto you. Not going to take up any more of your time. I'll see you out there in social media world. So love yourself. Take care of yourself. Take care of one another. Share the love of God. We win people by sharing the love of God. And, you don't have to beat people over the head with the Bible, with scriptures and things of that nature. Draw them by the love of God. It's just like fishing. You got to hook the fish first to catch it. Then once you catch it, then you can start cleaning it. Okay? So a lot of churches don't understand that concept. That's why we are missing our youth in a lot of churches, because of condemnation. And Romans 8:1 tells us that there is now no condemnation to them that are in Christ Jesus. So don't care if they got braids in their head or gold teeth. I don't care if they came in smelling like weed. I don't care if they just pulled up in a car with 24s on it with the windows all tint. Come on in so you can get the love of God. God will deal with all of that later. Get in. Catch them. We here for lost souls. We're not here for a look. We're here for people to become new creatures in Christ. Okay? So, until next time, Let's make sure that we doing what God assigned us to do and anointed us to do, so that we can help the lives transform, get saved, get edified, educated, and that at the appointed time, due time, they can receive everything that God has for them. It's your friend, your brother, Bishop Anthony M. UC. You already know. Keep on praying for me. I'm still taking pastoral interviews from different places. I'm waiting on a couple of emails, callbacks, probably next month, because it takes time for search committees to do what they need to do and have the conversations. And I'm looking forward to being invited for preaching engagements. I have a surprise preaching engagement. I'm not going to speak about that, but because I want to surprise some people in South Carolina. But I'll update y'all guys on that at a later date. Hope y'all be good. Thank y'all for your fellowship, your partnership. See you out there later. You know what it is. It's the UC Empire Grace Ambassadors Church. Talk to me. Talk to me. Shift. Irvin Chambers. Here come the boom. Off the flap. Until next time. You already know. One love. Peace.